What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? How you guys doing? Happy President's Day, I guess. Yeah, I'm kind of half working today, but thought I should still get on here and deliver some content um, for you guys. So, um, yeah, what are we talking about today? Well, today, first, my name is Jeremiah Davis, aka the Funding Coach, and I own several companies. One being BusinessFundingNow.com. BusinessFundingNow.com is a loan brokerage and uh, business credit building company, and primarily we just do business loans, a wide range of business loans. Right. And maybe you guys have talked to some other lenders or brokers in the industry, or maybe you're trying to get into the industry. Um, there's a number of different things you have to learn about funding. Um, and each week I come on here and try to give funding tips for one of the various types of business loan products that I service. Now, one of the biggest and I would say most complicated loan product um, is real estate funding or real estate loans. And these are not your conventional standard mortgage type loans. These are investment property type loans, whether it be for rentals, fix and flips, things like that, or multifamily, commercial. Um, there's a wide range of funding products within or under the real estate umbrella, right? And it's very confusing. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, it is not my best. My knowledge is still developing on a lot of the things within the real estate funding arena. I do know some things. I do some real estate investment loans, mostly the fix and flip or the fix and hold type thing. But lately, I've gotten into some commercial restaurants, bars, land, raw development, manufacturing, building a new facility for manufacturing. So I'm learning as I go, and that's the best teacher. The best teacher with a lot of loan products is on the job experience, right? And having the right resources and having enough knowledge to actually get a deal done. But I'm going to go over some of the broad strokes, and the goal of this is I want you to walk away with a better understanding about real estate funding or investment property funding, business, real estate funding, whatever terminology you want to put on it. But this is all pertaining to uh, a business and real estate and the different options within that arena. Okay. Because there are a lot of options, right? And then each lender has a different variation. A lot of these lenders only focus on maybe one or two, three, four type of real estate entities. And these lenders are usually the ones, like there's a whole plethora of lenders out there that just do say four or five type of real estate deals or just real estate period. That's all they do is real estate. If it's not real estate, they're not going to do it. So, and then within that, there's several different types of real estate funding. And the goal here is to um, if you have a real estate deal or you want to do a real estate deal, say if you want to buy some investment property, whether it be a residential investment property, whether it be apartment building, whether it be commercial like a strip mall or a building that you can lease out to another business, um, you need to do your homework. You need to figure out which of these loan products best fits your needs or your client's needs. Um, so it is highly, highly, highly important, right? Because it's very easy to misunderstand or convey the wrong information to a client, and then everybody's confused. Okay. So I'm going to give you some basics, all right, one on one type stuff, right? Um, 9 times out of 10, like, well, let's say 10 times out of 10, no lender is going to do 100% financing. None. Okay, 100% financing for real estate is not even a thing. Okay, now there were some criterias post pandemic or pre pandemic, and then some different criteria post pandemic, and a lot of lenders had to adjust um, what their criteria was to extend a particular type of loan. One of the major ones is pre-pandemic. There were hard money lenders. Hard money lenders are lenders who will um, basically loan you the money to get a property and flip it, and then you can make money off the refinance or the sale of that property. So those type of loans, and most of these type of loans are not designed for long term, right? So post pre-pandemic, the lenders were doing 90% of a purchase price and 100% of the rehab, right? So they were going to give you 90% of the money to buy the property. Then you have to only pay 10%. And then they would dispense the rehab money on like a timeline. As you complete the projects and update the house, um, and then once the construction and the rehab was complete, then you will put the house on the market, right, and sell it for the ARV, or after rehab value, right? And then they had the criteria that the house had to make at least $100,000 more than what you paid for it after the rehab, right? So hypothetically, if you had a property that was $100,000 and you put $25,000 in the rehab, the property needed to be worth 225 after rehab, right? Now that's just a guideline. Some lenders would go down to 75,000 to 100,000, but I usually keep a standard of $100,000 or more, because there's not enough meat on the bone after you get done with interest and closing costs and everything else. A lot of times you barely break even, or if you only make five or ten, $15,000 off a property. Now these real estate and lenders are not interested in that, not making any money. If they're not going to make any money off of it, then they're not going to do the deal. So I would put out the guideline that it has to be at least $100,000 above the purchase price and the rehab costs, right? Um, and then what happened? The pandemic, and then a lot of them switched. Nobody was doing 90%. They were doing 80%, 75%, even 70, and some 60%. I had a couple of deals that they was like, okay, we'll do 60% of the deal, right? So the person had to come up with 40% of the purchase price. That could be a lot of money to come up with to close a deal, right? And then there was a lot of people who wanted to get a business, a line of credit to finance their real estate deals. And if you've ever been to a real estate, webinar, or real estate or training session, they travel around, get a hotel ballroom, and then they, or a conference room, and teach you how to do this, get max out all your credit cards and do all that stuff. I was always opposed to that, because it if you have credit cards with that type of volume on it, you could probably get a different type of funding where it wouldn't cause you to max out your credit cards and take your credit, right? You're going to need your credit for some other things, and you want to have that resource available to you, so you don't shoot yourself in the foot, so to speak. Okay, so just now in the last couple of weeks, I've gotten some of my real estate lenders that are going back up to the 90% mark, right, of the purchase price. With one caveat: you have to have at least 3 investment properties of experience in the last 2 years. If you do not have that experience, you can't get the 90% of the purchase price. You would have to get, they'll go, maybe 80%, right? So that's not bad. It's not bad. And also still do 100% of the rehab, okay? And then there's a standard protocol that you have to follow, right? If you find a property that you want to invest in, that you think is a good deal, you need to make sure that the comps, the comparables in that community, on that block, within a 2 or 3 block radius, for houses with the same square footage, similar features, things of that nature, what they're selling at in today's market, that are already up to date and things like that. So if the house next door is selling for $500,000, and you can get this property next to it that's say $200,000, and then you can put say $50,000 into it, right? So you're like $250,000, and then it's going to be worth say 450, 500 afterwards. You got basically $250,000 of profit after ARV, um, uh, after rehab value of that property. That is a great deal. Okay. But to get the property under contract, getting the property under contract means that you have put down some earnest money with the seller, and you guys have drafted up this contract that says that you are buying the house and you have 30 days to come up with the money to buy the house, basically. A lot of times those contracts can be extended. Sometimes it takes longer to secure the financing for that than you initially started with, or had in mind, because things are just fluid like that. That's a very common thing, not to be able to get all the money that you need to close on this house or this investment property within 30 days. It's not unusual and usually a seller will extend that if you are under contract. Now, here's a caveat to that. If you do not secure the money within that time frame with the contract, the seller can then put it on the market, and you don't get your earnest money back. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're doing your homework before you put in earnest money and get it under contract. Okay, and that homework includes, right, having a third party contractor give you an itemized rehab budget, right? So the first thing you need is have property under contract. Second thing you need is a third party contractor to give you a itemized rehab budget, right? All right, and then get the comparables, right? And all this needs to be under a business name, not your personal name, business bank account, and etc. Right? These are business loans. You cannot use your personal resources to do investment property. You have to use a company, and then the company needs to have enough cash flow to cover interest payments and in that 10 to 20% down payment money. So you need to be, if you're in business and you have a different products or services or whatever your business is, funnel that money into the business account, and then disperse it as your salary or your cost or whatever things you spend that money on. But the bank is looking for the last 3 months of business bank statements that show that you have the resources to and do this deal. If you do not have that, you're not going to get approved. Okay, so yeah, those kind of like the highlight things you need to look for, right? Find the property that meets the criteria, and knowing the comparables, the comps in that area, being able to put the house on a contract, because you got to use your own money to put the house on a contract. That earnest money. Now, that earnest money can be anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000 or $10,000. Depends on the community. And when I bought my house, I had to put $7,000 to get on the contract, but it was a $500,000 house. So there you go. But in other community, and I live in Florida, so it's a lot more. But if you live in a more rural area, you might only have to put $1,000, $2,000 down to get the house under contract, right? Say suburbs of a city that is up and coming, might be a good avenue to start looking for houses that are in that prime area, or not the prime area yet, but it soon will be, because the property value in these expanding urban areas is growing rapidly. Most of the cities, in the southern areas, are exploding. So there's a lot of opportunity to get into real estate. And now with the lenders coming back down to, or going back up to, a 90% purchase price and 100% rehab, it's ideal if you have experience. Okay, so I'm gonna read off some, not all, some of the different types of real estate funding options that um, could be something that you want to look at. Okay, so one is called short-term rental lending program. Okay, so short-term rentals could be a 30-year fixed rate or a flexible rate with the arms or uh, ARMs, meaning it's the rate it fluctuates and sometimes they can go out for 5 to 10 years. Meaning after that 5 or 10 year period, with your interest rate only payments maybe adjusting usually upper, there's a balloon payment at the end. Now that some people that's what they want. They want to buy the property, and usually if you do something like that, your cost is less because the bank says they're going to make it up in this flexible interest rate type situation. But I'm gonna just keep it simple, right? So now there's lenders that say we're talking about short-term rental lending programs, right? You can go up to a 30-year fixed or flexible rate. Some of these lenders will, if there's minimal doc, so no tax returns, no income verification, things like that. But you need to have your other stuff. Rates can start around 6.75% or up, right? I wouldn't count on the 6.75. Most of the deals I'm doing are right now are between 8 to 10, depending on the type of loan and the property. But these type of loans are good for, you know, single family, multifamily duplexes, 1 to 4 units, and apartment buildings. Okay, so that's what you're looking at. You're looking at that. Um, is what type of property you want to purchase, and then which loan product best fits your needs to secure that property. Okay, so you got short term, is one uh, a loan product, and then you have um, a 30-year loan, right? This is a business real estate investment loan. Okay, this type of loan it can potentially go up to 100,000 to $4 million. The rates can be from 6.75 up to 9.99. You can do a 30-year fixed rate mortgage loans, a 5-year prepayment penalty, and this usually works like counting down backwards. So what we're referring to is if you wanted to refinance or sell the property and within a 5-year time period, then the penalty on that the first year, say you did it in the first 12 months, you got the property, will be 5% prepayment penalty. Then each year goes down. So the next year to be 4, then the next year to be 3, 2, 1, and after 5 years, there is no prepayment penalty. Okay. Now, this particular type of loan, you can do, like I said, up to a 10-unit property. It can be used for commercial property, residential, short-term vacation, mixed-use, commercial, residential, type thing, up to 10 units per property. Um, the credit score can be is 620. Okay, you can now do a LTV, which is loan to value, up to 80%, and up to 75% cash out refi. So you can get, and once if you refi it, they're not going to give you 100% of the value on under some of these types of loans. There's other places where you might be able to get 100% of the equity in that loan. Say you refinance it with a standard bank, standard mortgage on a 30-year, and then put for a rent sign on it. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of nuances to this thing, and then there's fees. Anywhere from 1% and up to closing cost fees, things like that. So there's a lot of different types of real estate financing in the real estate arena. And like I said, and the reason I'm doing this live about this is because I'm getting a lot of people calling me about real estate, right, and trying to understand it. The problem is there's great plethora in that just in the real estate arena alone that it takes a lot of research to understand all the different options that you might have. Okay, another uh, real estate product is called BRRRR, right? That's B with 4 R's. Okay, and that stands for buy, rehab, rent, refi, repeat. Okay. Now, this type of funding, they can go up to 90% LTC, and that stands for loan to cost, right? And that mean and then these types, they don't want an appraisal, they don't want anything. They can do up to 100% investment in as little as 3 months, up to 30 years, things like that. They can close on a property like this within 48 hours. Okay, rates start at 9.99, no appraisal required, up to 90% loan to value LTV, right? So that means they'll give you 90% of the purchase price or 70% LTV, or I'm sorry, loan to cost 90%, loan to value 70%, close in 48 hours. Okay, so these are the type of things you need to look at, right? And then if you want to do rates for easy rent is one category within that category. Rates are starting at 6.75, cash out refi 100% of your investment, owned for 3 to 6 months up to 70% ARV after rehab value, owned for 6 months or more up to 70% ARV, no income or tax returns to needed for that. So if you're looking to get in, get out real quick and make some money, this will be ideal for you. Okay. So it's little things like that that could be, like I said, kind of confusing. Um, and liquid assets. Liquid assets. Let me talk about liquid assets. You need to have some money in the bank. Okay. If you don't have any money in the bank, then you can't afford it. Simple as that. And we're not talking about $2,000 or $3,000, $5,000. We're talking about enough money to cover at least interest payments for up to 6 months. Now, a lot of these lenders will let you do interest only payments up to 12 months. I think that's crazy because you're just paying interest only and none of that's going towards the principal. Okay. So you want to get in and out and get it into a standard fixed 30 year if you're going to keep it in a fix and hold and rent it out. All right. If you're going to fix and flip, you need to you want to make sure you're going to get your investment money back. And most lenders, and when you have a rental property and you're ready to refinance it, they're not going to worry about your credit because the property is the collateral. Okay, so you be able to go into a bank and say, hey, I got a hard money loan in this house. This is what I owe on it, and but this is what the value is. They're going to give you the money, like maybe up to 90%, maybe 80% of the ARV after rehab value, right? And then you can pay off the hard money. You basically have a standard mortgage payment, and that the renters are paid. It's simple, right? If you put a couple of bucks on it, you make some profit, and you need to put a couple of bucks because you need contingency for repairs and upgrades and whatever have you. And having renters in the property, things are going to get broken and they need to be fixed. And if you don't plan that ahead and make sure you're collecting the money in the rental property to cover those contingency expenses, you might be going into your pocket trying to keep up with that type of stuff. So there's a few things you want to consider about that as well. Okay. So yeah, like I said, there's whenever talk. I'm not even talking about commercial yet. This is this residential. Commercial is a whole other thing. Then you got ground up financing and development and stuff like that. So there are lenders that will work with you if you got a plot of land or you want to buy a plot of land and build a residential or commercial building on. There is funding for that out here, but you want to do your research and make sure that you understand before you make any moves all the criteria to get that type of financing. Okay, and that's a little bit longer term because people, you know, they understand you. It's going to take you maybe 6 to 12 months to build whatever it is. If it's a house, it's a duplex, it's a 4 unit property, or apartment building, things of that nature. There's a number of different things you need to consider when you are uh, doing this investment type real estate. So yeah, that is kind of broad strokes. Okay. But ideally, I would suggest that you um, book an appointment, run a deal by me, and I'll shoot it out to my Rolodex of real estate lenders, and they will send me back okay, we can do this deal. Here are the terms. This is the documents we need. Yada yada yada. Right. And that way, um, you will know what you need to have before you get committed to something. That's the idea. That's the purpose that I'm trying to convey in this live, is that real estate's hot, real estate's doable. Anybody can do it if you have the right information. Okay, you can do this type of funding if you have the right information. Okay, if you're not sure what type of real estate funding that you need for your situation, book an appointment and talk to me. And I'm not gonna blow smoke up your butt. I'm not because, like I said, this is probably my weakest area of funding knowledge, which is not going to be like that for long. Okay, within this year, this next few months, I'll have this all in my head, like I have all the other funding options in my head. Um, that I want to get out to the people. Okay. So and like I said, the thing about business funding in general is it's fluid, and it's not an exact science. It's not um, 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 cookie cutter. It's kind of cookie cutter, but not exactly cookie cutter, because every person that's trying to get funding, their situation is different, right? I mean, from credit to income to demographics to area. There's a lot of things. A lot of lenders don't fund in all 50 states. So that's another caveat you have to look for. What lenders work in your state or the state you're looking to invest in? Those types of things, it changed by lender. What type of supporting documents that these lenders, because it's not as regulated or heavily regulated, the business funding arena in general. Yeah, the housing market, there are some regulations, and lenders have to adhere to standard governmental lending practices, but what they decide to underwrite is their discretion. Who they decide to approve is their discretion. Some lenders, they won't even ask you what your credit is, as long as you got the liquid assets to be able to do the 10 to 20% of the purchase price, 100% of the rehab. They'll do 100% of rehab and 3 to 6 months of interest payments. Do you have the liquidity to do that type of funding? If you do not, those are the things that you want to make sure you have in place before you commit yourself to any type of investment property. Anybody got any questions? I want to know if you got any questions here. Oh shoot, look at this. Can I say Burr? It's B with 4 R's. That's what it is. It's okay. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. But that's what it looks like. Burr. I'm from Chicago, so that's exactly the image I had in my head. And did I tell you what it stands for? You want me to say? Oh, it stands for. Let me go back to it. So, boom, boom, boom. Let's see here. I don't lost it now. Hold on 1 second. It's an acronym, and I'm going to have it for you in just a second. Okay, I'm going to come back to that one. It figures as soon as I closed it, I lost it. Okay, here we go. Okay, Burr. Okay, it's B with 4 R's, right? The B stands for buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. Okay, so that's what that stands for. All right. Now that's just one loan product in the real estate arena. Okay. Let me one other thing I wanted to go over really quickly. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here's some generalized criteria. Okay, short-term loan programs. You got your stabilized bridge loan. Bridge loan is a short-term loan to give you the finance you need in between projects. For example, you own a house, right? Let's say I'm gonna use this as a standard mortgage term to try to explain it. You own your house, right? You're putting it up for sale, and you're buying another house and moving to another city, right? A bridge loan in this aspect would be getting a loan to pay your current mortgage while you're closing on the deal of the new mortgage until someone pays for your house, your old house. Okay, so you can get a bridge loan so you're not coming out of pocket initially to cover, two mortgage payments basically, but to cover one mortgage payment while you're closing on a second, and hopefully within that time frame, maybe a couple of months, 2 3 months, what have you, that someone purchases your old house, and then you use the profit from that to pay off the bridge loan, and then you got your new house. But this is ambiguous term for multiple types of loan products that can be used to gap the difference. Another type of way to use the bridge loan is with personal loans. Sometimes, if you're over utilized on your credit cards and you need to pay down your credit cards to get a better term loan, you would get a bridge loan, and that lender would pay those credit cards down or off, so to help your DTI. Then when your DTI, debt to income ratio, is stabilized with everything under 40% or under 15% or whatever, they pay it off 100%. The credit score increases and your DTI looks more favorable. Then you can go and get a lower rate, longer term personal loan where it's 8 10%, whatever, 12% over the next 5 years, once those credit cards, and then once you get that second loan, you pay back the bridge loan for your credit cards that was paid off. So those are two terms where bridge loans are, like I said, ambiguous, but in short, it's a short-term loan to cover expenses until other financing is secured. That's the general concept. Okay. And then we have, back in the real estate arena, stabilized bridge loan. There's a single family and multifamily type loan. A single family, we're looking at a term between 12 to 18 months, as well as multifamily. You're looking at minimum loans amount of 50,000 up to $250,000. The minimum property value is on a single family 75K. On a multi, it's 50,000 per door. So if you got a duplex, that's 50,000 per unit. Okay, got a three or quad, same thing. Maximum these type of loans to go to is 7.5 million on a single family and 10 million on a multifamily. Okay, so yeah, there's like a nuances, but minimum credit score for this type with this particular lender that I'm looking at is a 620. Okay, fix and flip has similar criteria. Okay, that's just a couple of different, those are short-term programs, loan programs. Then you have your long-term programs. This will be for new construction or long-term rentals, right? If there's new construction, you can do a long-term for 12 to 24 months. Minimum loan amount is 100,000. Minimum property value 150,000. Max loan amount is 2 million. That's a single family, right? If you're looking at a long-term non-new construction, they'll do a single family or a multifamily up to 30 years, and your minimum loan amount can be 65,000 to 100,000. Minimum property value needs to be 100,000 or 50K per unit per door, right? Maximum single family is 2 million, and multifamily is 2 million. Now, I'm not going to get into the LTV and minimum, all the property types, but basically, all of these are non-owner occupied. That's another caveat that you need to understand. You cannot live in these properties. If you do that, that's technically illegal, right? If you lie, Basically, you're getting credit and financing under false pretenses. That is a crime. Okay, so don't do that. All right, but people do it anyway. It is they kind of circumvent the system and do it, and most people get away with it. But I'm just saying, non-owner occupied single family products, condos, townhouses, apartment buildings, things of that nature. You want to look at if you're looking at doing a single family or a property multi-unit investment property. You have short term, you have long term, things like that. You got fix and flip. Like I said, there's a plethora of own products just under the real estate umbrella by itself. And we're just talking on the business end, not even talking about the 8 in the standard mortgage program where you're buying a house to live in. So there's a lot of different funding products within the real estate arena, um, and that it's complicated. It's complicated. I'm going to tell you straight up, it's complicated. But finding tell you what, you find a property and you make a call, book an appointment, and let's find the right type of loan product that fits your needs where you don't have to come out of pocket as much. But right now, like I said in the beginning, you need to make sure that you have uh, you know uh, if you have no experience, you don't have more than 3 property flips in the last uh, 2 years, then you have no experience. So the max you can get is 80% on a purchase price and 100% of rehab. So you need to have that other for 20% um, in liquidity, as well as 3 to 6 months of interest payments only on that type of loan. How do you figure out what the interest payment is? Just take the cost of the property, right, times the interest rate, and that should give you an interest amount payment, and multiply that by 3 to 6 months. Okay. Even see what else. I got any more questions here? Are you holding these types of webinars every Monday? Yeah, you can go to the YouTube channel, and there's probably about 100 of them. I've been doing these for like 2, 3 years. Business Funding Now on YouTube, and then go to the lives, and you'll see a whole list of YouTube videos I've done on various funding products. Yeah. Okay. Tim, what's up? What's up? Thanks for sharing. Thank you. I like bridge loans. Yeah, they come in handy. Okay, that makes sense. A lot of people use them in Florida. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, once you know what type of loan is going to best fit your needs, and then just finding the right lender, and it's not that uncommon to um, go to the same lender for each project. Once you build a relationship with a lender, and then if you, and the more experience you have, I mean, the better terms you're going to get, the better, a whole plethora of things are going to get better for you. It's just getting your foot in the door, right? And I'll be honest with you, experience now is more important than it was uh, post pandemic. Okay. A lot of lenders, for a lot of different reasons, have changed their protocol. And I say this before, there's a lot uh, of there's a lot of lenders went out of business during the pandemic, and a lot of lenders that if they stayed in business, they changed their underwriting guidelines and to make it more palatable, uh, more acceptable for the kind of clients that they are looking for. Okay, the shocking thing is that some of these lenders saying if your business doesn't make $50,000 to $100,000 a month, they don't want to do business with you. Well, there's a lot of business out there to make $10,000 to $20,000 a month. Where they're going to go? So it makes it more challenging. That's why I say the funding world is fluid, because it's not as heavily regulated like everything else. Lenders can choose who and what type of clients they want to underwrite. They don't have to accept everybody. They don't have to, uh, none of those things apply to them. They can't, deny you for race, religion, or whatever all that stuff is. But if they don't want to work with nobody with a credit score under 680 and don't have at least $100,000 in liquid assets, they don't have to. As simple as that. You know, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at, I mean, These lenders can underwrite whoever they want or not underwrite whoever they want based on their own criteria on credit, income, things of that nature, right? Of course, if you go into one of these lenders, there's no docs or minimal docs. There's no such thing as no docs, but minimal docs, no income verification, things like that. No credit check. They're going to make it up somewhere else. You're not pulling a fast one. They know what they're doing, and they know that what they're looking for, right? And you come to them and say, "Oh, yeah, I want to get a $250,000 loan on an investment property with no documentation." The only thing they have to gauge and to approval with is your bank statements, your liquidity. Can you afford this? And when they're looking at it, they're looking at a risk assessment. Can you afford this if everything goes bad, right? The construction is delayed. Can you continue to make the interest payments for the next couple of months until the construction is caught up to par? Materials on back order. Can you afford to make the interest payments only until the materials come in? A whole plethora of unplanned, unintended expenses they may arise when you're doing a rehab or fix and flip or fix and hold type situation. Is the foundation. And a lot of those experienced real estate investors, they're going to have a contingency budget in their rehab budget to anticipate the unforeseen issues, and that comes with experience. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot to real estate. All right, but I guess my point, I don't want nobody to be afraid of it, right? I want you to be afraid to, and a lot of us talk about we want to get into real estate, we want to get into real estate, we want to get into real estate, but we don't know the first step and we get into real estate. We don't know the qualifications and requirements the lenders are looking for to get into real estate. Okay. And I said it earlier, and I'm going to end this live with that same criteria. And this is just the basics, right? Um, the things you need to have in place to start your real estate portfolio. Say you've never done it, and you want to get one property, and you want to rehab it, and you want to rent it, right? Or you want to sell it. Either way, it doesn't matter. Okay. You need to make sure you find a property, right, that will have at least $100,000 plus in after rehab value, or ARV, right? The scenario I gave in the beginning of the slide was $100,000 property. Okay, they want $100,000 for it. You think you can probably rehab it for 25,000, right? So, and then once it's after rehab, it's worth 225,000 on the market. How do you determine that? Well, you're going to check other properties, the comparables, the comps in that community, on that block, or within a 2 or 3 block radius, that the houses that meet that same criteria. So 2,000 square foot house, 2-car garage, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, things of that nature, right? Maybe the lot size, right? Now, the house down the street is almost similar to the house that you want to buy, and it's selling for, say, 400,000, right? And it's updated and it's on the market, it's selling, right, for 400. That's the asking price. Okay, that's your comparable. But then you need to have 3 comparables, a minimum. 3 comparables, a minimum. Okay, and they're going to find the middle. All right, and that's how they're going to value your house. But if you can get the property for 100,000, put 25,000 into it, and then put it on the market for, say, 400,000, you're looking at a couple $100,000 profit after closing costs. Okay, so that's the concept. But the minimum amount of ARV you want in that property is $100,000. It's got to have at least that. All right. The things you're going to need to do once you find that property and the criteria meets the criteria of the lenders, right? You got to put it under contract, right? Put it under contract might cost you anywhere from $1,000, $2,000 or more, depends on the state and the community. If it's a high end community, it's going to be a larger amount too. But the seller cannot sell it from under you if you have it under contract. That's why lenders want you to have it under contract, so nobody else can come scoop it away from you. They want you to be able to, and then you hit the contracts for 30 days. So you have 30 days to secure the financing and then close. Okay, if you do not have it within 30 days, a lot of sellers will extend the contract another 30 days. So I've seen contracts go out 6 months, just extending them, extending them, extending them, because the seller is like, okay, this guy's close, this lady's close, I'm going to stick with him. But if you do not secure the financing within that time frame of the contract, you do lose your earnest money, right? And then the seller can put it back on the market. Okay, so you're gonna need a contract. You need a itemized third-party rehab budget. Itemized third-party rehab budget. You need to have a contractor come to the house, right, when doing a showing, inspect it, look at everything that needs to be updated, and present you with the whatever 5, 6 page proposal or rehab proposal on itemized items that need to be updated and the cost. Then you'll also need at least 3 comparables. So getting it under contract, getting the rehab budget, getting the comparables, right? All the things you need. And then the final step is showing your liquid assets, your cash flow. You have the other 10% if you have experience, 20% if you do not have experience, plus 3 to 6 months interest only payments. Those are the things you need. You bring all that to me, I take it to the lender. The house is yours within 30 days, usually 2 weeks. Some of these products you can close in 48 hours. Just depends. So you definitely want to do your research before you commit yourself, right? And then once you get the property, you get it rehab, and you want to keep it, now you can go to a bank, right, and just refinance it under a standard 30-year mortgage. Then you take that money, the equity out, and pay off the hard money. And then you just have your standard 30-year mortgage making your monthly payments, or the renter's making the payments. There's no difference what if you're going to flip it, right? You put it on the market, you get a buyer, you're listing it for the after rehab value of 400,000. You get the money from the sale, pay off the hard money, and the difference is your profit. And then you repeat the same process. And before you know it, you have a nest egg in your business account to buy these properties, um, without getting hard money. But I always recommend you do use other people's money. Why use yours? Just keep stacking that. If they're going to give you 90% of the purchase price and 100% of rehab, you showing your money in the bank that you got the liquidity to handle and maybe get larger properties, more properties with a more after rehab profit margin and value. Things like that. You need to, yeah, think like that. Using other people's money to make more money, and then you just keep stacking up the profit for your fix and flips or fix and holds. Then you can transition from there to real estate, to commercial or apartment buildings, things of that nature. The apartment buildings get a little more complex, especially if you have tenants in it, because when basically you're doing like that, you want to pull when a tenant moves out, you want to rehab that property and then mark the value of that property up. That's how you increase your rent roll, right? And every time a tenant moves out, you you rehab it, and next thing you know, that building that's got 10 units that you paid like half $500,000 for, in a couple of years, once you get all the units updated, now the property is going to be worth $1 million. Then you can sell it, or you can keep it and just keep that money coming in. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just keep stacking it. In what way you can get a larger budget for the next round? I mean, they're not going to, you're not restricted as what resources you have. There's been a number of times that someone has come to me and looking for this type of funding, but didn't have the resources. So I will take them into a personal loan option, get them $50,000 to $100,000, put that money in the bank, let it sit for 2, 3 months, right? Basically they'll look at the last 3 months bank statements. So if you got $100,000 in the bank account for the last 3 months, right, and then you find the property and come to the lenders and they say, oh, okay, then I mean it's like cutting butter, because now they see that you have the liquidity in your business bank account of $100,000 plus, right? Sometimes it's when they don't see the 3 months of history, they go, well, where does money come from? Start asking questions. Be like, well, I got a loan so I can do my real estate stuff. But ideally, you want to position yourself by building your business credit and getting business term loans. If you had a $250,000 not term loan, line of credit. If you had a $250,000 business line of credit to finance your real estate ventures, that's the cheapest money you can get because you only pay 3-4% interest on the money that you withdraw. And if you just withdraw enough to get the deals done, and then put that money back, you're only paying the interest on the money that you withdrew, like a 4%, a 4% draw cost. And then that relationship with that bank will grow. And just like with credit cards, you manage it well, keep it up well, they will increase that business line of credit. Um, and there's no limit. You can have a $500,000 business line of credit if you grow it properly and manage it properly. But that's basically having that relationship with the bank, building that relationship with the bank that you can be trusted and they don't have to worry about getting their money back. So yeah, but the more you do it, the more money you stack up and the more experience you have, the better options you have on the type of real estate you can invest in. All right, guys. Wow, this one went almost an hour, but that's all right. That's awesome. Listen, as usual, like, share, follow YouTube, Facebook, all that jazz. And if anybody's interested, tonight I got the Mountain Movers at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. That'll be live. And then Friday, Black Label CRM, live is on Friday. I got some new stuff coming out on the Black Label with a basically more cookie cutter, business builder. Matter of fact, Bill is still on here. He just got it. We're wrapping it up, finishing up today, but I'm rolling this out for mass production. If you want to plug and play business credit and business funding software with all the automations, text messages, emails, landing pages, phone services, all in one dashboard to manage it with a phone app, to take a look at that. I'm running a sale this week that you can get that whole thing if you already have the software or if you don't have the software. I have if you have the software, it's a little cheaper, but if you don't have the software, you can get that too. And basically, I'm taking like 20% off. So the whole package with the software included, it was normally $10,000, but $3,000 of that is your software. So if you already have the software, it'd be like $7,000. I'm giving the whole package for $5,000. Okay, so that's $2,000 off, and all these things can be financed. All right, I got financing, in-house financing, so you can get just the software alone financed, or you can get the business builder instead of $10,000 for $8,000, and includes the software and the full build out. Or if you already got the software and just want that, it'll be $5,000. All those things can be financed. So you can finance that, and then within a few weeks, you will have your business credit and business funding, business in a box under your brand and everything ready to roll. And you can, and I think we have 14 different marketing tools in there, tons of email campaigns. We'll even upload your contact list, so they'll go right into your automation. We set it up as soon as somebody books an appointment, they go directly into your text message, email automation. And it's clockwork. And then I manage everything from here. I mean, y'all be thinking y'all be texting me, y'all texting my software, and some of those are auto responses on those text messages. There's some I'm actually responding to as well. I try not to after business hours, but how sometimes it is what it is. Anyway, like I said, let's book an appointment. Let me give you the appointment link. If you want to become an affiliate of Business Funding Now, right now is a good time because we're in the next couple of weeks or a month or so, we're rolling out a concierge funding clearinghouse where we're going to be implementing, providing all the funding resources with my funding team, but we're going to represent your company. Okay. And then you will take all that work off you. So when people come to you for funding, you pass them on to us. We got an unbranded application that you can have that's only, it's uniquely yours and it's automated. As soon as you sign up, you get your unbranded application, a loan application with the 21 different type of loans we offer. And then me or one of my staff members will call the client, represent your company, and close the loans, supporting documents, close the loan, and pay your commission. And quite frankly, I can't give you 15 years of knowledge in a couple of lives. It's just not going to work that way. But everybody needs money, first of all. So all you got to do is ask. You need money? Yeah, let me help you out get some money. Okay, that's pretty much it. I'm oversimplifying, but everybody needs money. People who want to start a business need money. People who have a business need money to expand, to grow, to buy more products and services, to excel. Everybody needs money, okay, as well as business credit. Everybody's have business credit, and they need to have business credit, and they need to continue to build it ongoing. It's not a one-off. You got to keep going. You kind of got to keep building it. All right, you got to keep building it. But schedule an appointment, and I'll be happy to answer your questions and help you get some loans done. Or if you need a loan, we can do that too. So let me find the link for the appointment scheduler. Okay. And if you guys are interested in learning more about the Black Label software and the additional features, the business builder, all those things, you can go to blacklabelcrm.com and book an appointment there or book a live demo. I'm going to go ahead and put that link up here too as well. Okay. Now, the live demo is you need it behind a computer, and it's going to take about an hour. So plan accordingly. Okay. But I go through all the aspects of the software from the admin panel as well as the client portal. It's the most automated business credit and funding software there is out there. And we have a ton of new updates coming up that's going to be mind-blowing. Direct FICO 8 credit imports with 2 business credit imports. So you'll be able to pre-qualify clients with those documents, and you get to make money on it as well because you sign up with Identity IQ and ask for your business and FICO 8 credit monitoring link. Then you'll make a little bit more money on those, and that information is going to be able to be directly imported into the software. And then we're adding, like I said, the one-click application submission with a concierge funding clearinghouse, where Business Funding Now will be providing you white label funding services for all those who are using the software. Okay. All right, you guys. My name is Jeremiah Davis. I am the funding coach. Thanks for watching. Peace.